Hey guys, it's Thomas with Puddle Jumper Adventures here. The family and I recently went to Indiana Dunes National Park. It was our first visit to this park and it was very fun. Here we are at Mount Baldy. We decided to make that our first stop of the day, and we decided to go down the Mount Baldy trail. It's a moderate trail, I would say. The sand makes it a little bit hard because there's some elevation change, but man, the views are amazing. I almost thought we were going to be in the Caribbean there for a little bit. But the kids did pretty good. They did a lot better than Dad did. So here we are starting the trail. You can't actually climb up the dune, but the ranger did tell us that they do ranger-led programs where they actually take you on a designated path up the dune. So one cool thing about the dune, though, is it is growing. So they've already had to move the parking lot since it's gotten bigger and stuff, and they expect it to continue to keep getting bigger as it is protected because it is a diverse environment in this area. As you can see, the trail very wide, very cleared off, very well used. So it's easily navigable by most people. I'm going to take a minute here just to say, if you wouldn't mind liking our video, subscribing to our channel. We are going to be posting some other content from the other places that we're going to be visiting this summer. And I'll also leave a comment. Let us know what you like, what we could do to improve. But here we are, continuing on our trail for Mount Baldy, heading to the beach. So while we're continuing on the trail here, one thing I'd like to mention is that they actually have a bike path that goes the majority of the main part of the park. It's called the Calumet Bike Trail, and it pretty much goes from like the Cowles Bog area all the way up to Mount Baldy, and it's only, I wouldn't say, about half a mile from the Dunewood campground. When we went for this visit, we stayed at Dunewood. We did drive our van to most of the locations that we went to, but when we go back again, because we do plan on going back, it's awesome. Once we get past this trail and you see the first looks here, you're going to see why I say the views are amazing. But anyways, we would have taken our e-bikes that we take with us, and we would have just went to the trail, hopped on it, and it would have taken us most of the way to Mount Baldy. So, but anyways, back to the trail. As you can tell, there is a little bit of elevation gain here. The family's a little bit faster than I am on it. So you'll want to be prepared if you're one of those people like me that struggles a little bit with the sand and the elevation. So it makes it a little bit trickier than, walking on flat boardwalks. So here we are. There's a split in the path, but we took the main trail because the sign said to keep going up Mount Baldy. Actually, Mount Baldy is to the right over here. We're kind of on the smaller part of it, but here we are getting ready to come up. You can start seeing the lake off there in the distance, and here's the beach. I mean, that's just gorgeous. The camera's not actually doing it justice. You have to see this for real, in real life. The water looks turquoise. Only ever seen it in like Caribbean.
My name's Thea, and we're at Puddle Jumper Adventures. You might see our parents because we're not usually in the videos. So we were on Kira. Say your name. Oh, I already did. Kira. Oopsies. And
what did we do today?
We went on Mount Baldy. We found the ocean.
That's a lake, but close.
No, it's not. Oh, it's not a lake or an ocean. It's a beach. And there's two. 1, 2.
All right, you ready to go?
Yeah. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye.
Here we are parking at the parking lot for Central Avenue Beach. And I will just say real quick that out of all the beaches that we visited, this one is our favorite. We would definitely come back here and hang out all day. We parked in a parking lot. There's two ways that you could get to the beach, but it's technically one way because this trail that we go on, I thought, oh, it's going to take us to the beach, or we could have walked to the other end of the parking lot or the entrance to the parking lot and then taken the road back there. It's closed off road just for maintenance access and stuff like that. What we found out quickly with this trail is it just connects to that road anyways. So you want to go through this part, you can. Just be wary that there's poison ivy, there's ticks, mosquitoes, and all that stuff. So, right now we were not getting swarmed by mosquitoes. We didn't get any ticks or anything like that, and we made sure to avoid the poison ivy. But if you don't want to mess with all that, you could easily just walk through the parking lot back to the entrance and take a left, and it'll take you to the same destination. Because as you're going to see here pretty soon, this is going to just dump out right there at that maintenance road anyways. So, but some of the reasons why we like this beach is it was very calm. Like, I can say this afterwards, because when we first got to it, it was like, oh, another great beach. This is awesome. It's easy to get to. You don't have to walk up any hills. Yeah, there's a, say, half mile, 3/4 mile walk or something like that. But it's a very, very nice beach. The waves were not too crazy. Some of the other beaches that we were at that day, in that short amount of time, you could tell that the waves were getting kind of crazy and kind of had some drop-offs in certain areas. But the Central Avenue Beach just seemed to have an overall, I want to say, family-friendly experience. So obviously you want to just watch your kids wherever you go, but this one is not as worrisome as the other one. So nice little area there. You can change, use the restroom, clean off when you're done. There's some signage there, talks about some of the things to be wary of at a beach. They do say you want to check to make sure that they haven't closed some beaches, because when we were there, they'd closed off a couple other beaches. You just scan the QR code and you can see what ones are getting closed off because of like algae blooms and stuff like that. So, or bacteria, I think is what it was. But we went to this one. It was great. Walked down there, and it's just a sandy beach, and it goes on for a long ways with beautiful views. And it's great. All right, so once you reach the beach here, there is like a little bit of a ledge. At this point, we decided to just take off our shoes and sandals and stuff and go barefoot because it was a lot easier walking. But once you do that, there's kind of like a little path that you can go down directly to the beach area. Then the girls they just loved it. Playing with the sand, going into the water. It was cold that day. We did the week before, it was 80s and 90s, and so I was like, yes, we're gonna get lucky and have some nice warm weather. And then the weather forecast changed, and we ended up having, I think it was like 60s the day that we were there. But I can tell you one thing, this is dad approved. I would definitely plop my butt in the sand and watch as the kids would have fun, walk through the water a little bit. Here we are taking a family picture. I love it. Look at that backdrop. Here we are at Lakeview Beach. This one is kind of there's a lot of tight parking because part of it is owned by like a city, or like one of the parking lots is owned by the city, and there were signs everywhere that said, you will be fined if you do not have their sticker. So we definitely made sure we did not park there. You do have to have your park pass or some sort of a pass to show that you can park for these beach accesses. So that's important to know. We have the America the Beautiful pass. This one was pretty cool. It had one of the plaques that I've been seeing at some of the other national park ones. So I had my wife take a picture of that. We did walk down. This one's a little bit more tricky to get down because there were some areas that was kind of like, Okay, we're not going to go that way because we got some little kids with us. Be a little bit more adventurous. This one was a little bit more rocky beach. But it does have some sandy areas, so we'll see that here in just a little bit. But it does take a little bit of getting down to, but it was totally fun. And a lot of these rocks had some cool looks. And again, remember, we are in a national park, so we're not supposed to be taking any rocks. We're supposed to leave them behind. But we did look at quite a few of them because there were a variety of them. There were some agates, there were some fossils. It looked like some coral in the rocks. Tried to skip a few because there was hardly anybody else out there. But look at those waves. See that? We were at Central Avenue Beach, and we didn't see waves like that. But here at this beach, it was very, very high waves. And there were some parts where we were kind of concerned because you would be walking, and it kind of felt like it fell off a little bit. So, but here we are walking down it was kind of like a little boardwalk area that they got. Not like a wood boardwalk, but it leads you to a path to where you can climb down some rocks and then you can get onto the beach. So it's not like this all the way down. But it was a nice little beach. It's a fun area to go to and just kind of mess around. And if you're like a rock person, you want to see a bunch of rocks, there are a ton of rocks throughout this beach. So here we are climbing down. We left that little boardwalk path that they got. You got to kind of climb through these rocks. One thing to note, we actually parked. If you look up to the left there, I don't have it on video here. We parked up there in the parking lot. There's actually a trail that comes down there close to where we're at right now. But the trail had kind of washed out. It looked like the sand had washed away and stuff. So you probably could have made it. But it would, yeah, right there's our van, right behind that rock. You can kind of see the top of it a little bit. So here we are at the Pinhook Bog Trail. I was doing some research about Indiana Dunes and found out that they have pitcher plants here. And I kind of like pitcher plants and Venus flytraps and stuff like that. I had a pitcher plant for my classroom, and it didn't last too long. But when I found out that they have here, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Let's try and go on a hike through there. So I tried to do some research on how you can go on a hike through the Pinhook Bog, and there was nothing really on the calendar. And when we were at the visitor center, I forgot to ask. They were really busy, and I realized they're kind of understaffed right now, so I didn't want to take up too much time. But so we went out to the Pinhook Bog Trail head there, try to see what we could see and access, and the majority of the trail was closed because you have to go on a ranger-led program because of how fragile the environment is. So while we were there, we were not able to do that trail. There is an open part of it, but it just kind of takes you through the rest of the bog, and with all the stuff that we wanted to get done, we decided to not do that, but we did walk around and check a few things out. But we're actually walking over to where the trailhead is for the Pinhook Bog, where you would actually be able to see those pitcher plants. So still a very cool area, very biodiverse. We're literally just a few miles from a beach. So it's kind of amazing to think about how much the environment changes from you're going from a beach to a sand dune. We even saw like blue herons, so there's like a little swampy area, and then now we're in like a bog with some very cool looking plants. This is us leaving our campsite on our e-bikes. We stayed at the Dunewood Campground. Very quiet campground. We had very little problems checking in. There's a gate attendant, or the host attendant, checks you in, checks you off, gives you some maps and stuff, and gives you a little bit of a talking to about some of the stuff. And one thing she told us is that we were there early enough that mosquitoes were not going to be bothering us, but they had a bunch of ticks, so she was kind of warning us to not walk in the middle or through the grass because ticks would probably come off and leech off to you. So we're kind of riding our bikes through the campground here. Off to the right is where they kind of have some of the tent sites, and on the left here is there's bathrooms, and then there's showers, and the shower rooms are individual shower stalls. They were great. I mean, they were wide and open spaces, so very pleased with the setup there. So there's a couple different loops to go through. So we just kind of rode our e-bikes through there. And the other thing I want to note is, even though it's a national park, we did see this Indiana State Patrol. They went through the campground several times. I want to say we saw them the first night. It was probably 4 times going through the campground. And that adds to that security feel, because not only are there park rangers that patrol, but you also have the camp host that patrols. There they are going on their golf cart. And then we also have the Indiana State Patrol coming through. So that gives that extra sense of security. So, but we did take our e-bikes through the campground. Beautiful campsites. There's no power to any of the campsites, but there's water spigots nearby. So we didn't have to leave to go get water or anything like that. But the campsites were very well spaced out, a lot of shade, and we cooked a lot of food there at campsites, and they were very nice. And as you can tell, the e-bikes, we didn't have to struggle too much. It was all flat area pretty much, and just a very enjoyable ride through the parks. So as we are finishing up our bike ride here, we're going through the second loop here. Here are some things that we want to do when we come back again, not if, when we come back again, because for us this is only like a 5.5 hour drive, and it's well worth it to go to a beach with turquoise waters and that look amazing. And I imagine on a hot day, this place is probably pretty hopping too. But there is this campground probably about a mile away from that Central Avenue beach, the one that we like. So when we do come back again, one of the things we want to do is use our e-bikes to get us to those beach sites, because there are some very limited parking areas, but we can also put our bikes and lock them up and stuff like that. So, we would also like to spend some more time at some of the other sites. There was a couple beaches that were closed. I think it was due to like the bacteria thing, which, I mean, when we went to Florida, we had to make sure there were no algae blooms down there. So if you go to a beach, you're very well aware of all those things when you're going to a beach. So definitely check and make sure on that. So, but overall, we had a great time. I have read some reviews where people are like, oh, it's underwhelming and it's a small national park, and why isn't it a national park? And once you actually go there and you experience all the diverse environments that you're going through, I mean, we went from a beach with water to a dune to a swamp that had like these really big blue cranes or herons maybe, or something like that. And it was like, I remember I was like, oh, look at those birds. And everybody in the van was like, what are you talking about? Like, because I thought it was cool. I haven't really seen that before. So, but other than that, we would definitely use the e-bikes more, because it's a very e-bike friendly area, other than going to some of the places like the visitor center or Pinhook Bog, because those are kind of separate from those main parts of the campground. But other than that, not from the campground, but from the actual park itself. But other than that, can't wait to go back, spend more time at that beach, let the kids play, do some swimming, and have some fun. By the way, make sure you like and subscribe to our videos. We are trying to just document our journey as a family, share that information with everybody. Hopefully give you some ideas on how you can go to these places and what we have learned. We have some more videos coming out this summer. We're going to be going to a bunch of all the Mighty Five in Utah. We're going to Colorado, so we're going to be hitting the Rockies, Mesa Verde, Great Sand Dunes, Canyonlands, Arches, Zion, Great Basin, and all those places. So make sure you like and subscribe. If you want, drop a comment too. Say hello. We love interacting with people. Let us know what you did while you were there, or what some of the things that we should have done, because we are definitely going to go back. And if there's things that we should have done that maybe we missed, we'd love to know that too. But before I let you go here, and since we're still riding our e-bikes through the campground, that just shows you how nice and big the campgrounds with all the campsites are. Just want to let you know a few things. when we went to the visitor center, very nice visitor center. Like, it's very updated, a lot of interactive, not a lot. There's some interactive displays. Let me put it that way, compared to the other ones. We did do the Junior Ranger program. They do it a little bit differently here. So they gave us one Junior Ranger book, and then the kids just filled it out as we just filled it out as a family, but they each got their own Junior Ranger bag. So that's a little bit different than the other parks that we've gone to. Nothing wrong with that. You know, I know, you know, maybe they were running low on books or something, or maybe that's how they normally do it, but that's just something for you to kind of be prepared for. There was also, when we're riding through, or driving through, you kind of wonder, am I in the national park or am I not? So, you know, just remember, you might be in a national park, so don't be taking rocks from those. That's one thing I did notice from all the signage was, you know, you're not supposed to be taking rocks and stuff like that. So, but it was a nice area. Here we are coming back up to our campsite here. We loved it. It was a great little national park. We learned a lot, and hopefully our next visit we'll have a little bit more in-depth experience for you using the e-bikes and letting you know about the trails. Because we did hear there were certain parts of the trail, like more towards like the southern portion, that had some issues and stuff like that with water drainage and stuff. But it sounds like they're trying to make a pretty long trail. So, but other than that, awesome place to go. Don't listen to all the feedback about it being small and not worth it, because for us it was it was definitely worth it. So I'm glad we made the trip, because we're definitely going to be going back. So as always, make sure you like and subscribe to our video and our channel. Helps us determine what's working and what's not working as we share our info. So until our next adventure, this is Thomas with Puddle Jumper Adventures.